So how do you set up the perfect crime? Well, Agatha Christie basically wrote the manual with "and then there were none." Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on that legendary opening and see exactly how she builds this absolutely inescapable literary trap, right from page 1.
And let's be clear, we're not just talking about any old story here. This thing has sold over 100 million copies. It is the undisputed champion of mystery novels. It's a total masterclass in suspense that has been thrilling and, frankly, terrifying readers for decades.
So how does a perfect murder mystery kick off? Christie's answer is it's brilliant. It doesn't start with a dead body. Nope. It starts with an invitation.
Okay, so our story gets going with this lure. A mysterious host, this Mr. U.N. Owen, invites a whole group of people to a private, totally isolated getaway called Soldier Island. But these are not just some random people.
I mean, just look at this guest list. It is a perfect slice of society. You've got a formal old judge, a wild young playboy, a super religious spinster, a total of 10 strangers from completely different walks of life. And none of them seem to have a single thing in common. And right there, that's your first clue. Why these specific people?
You know, what's so genius is how believable every single invitation is. Each one is perfectly designed for the person it's sent to. But that's where this little feeling of unease starts to creep in. Because the guests show up and they pretty quickly figure out their host is just gone, nowhere to be found.
The very sharp Justice Wargrave, he's the first one to put it all together. The name of their host, whether it's Ulick Norman Owen or Una Nancy Owen, it all spells out the same initials, UN Owen, or, as he points out in this really chilling moment, unknown. They've been brought here by a total mystery person.
But believe me, the host's game is way more complex than just a clever name. This is where Christie starts to masterfully build the atmosphere on the island, and, this is where it gets really creepy.
In every single bedroom, the guests find something a little off. It's a framed copy of an old nursery rhyme, 10 Little Soldier Boys. Now, Christie is doing something classic here. She's taking something innocent from childhood and twisting it into something really sinister. It's this dark little poem about 10 soldiers who die, one after the other. At first, they just think, weird decoration. But oh, it is so much more than that.
But that creepy little rhyme isn't just hanging up on the walls.
Because right there, in the middle of the dining room table, they find 10 little china figures, one for each line of the poem, and, more importantly, one for each of them. The stage is now perfectly, horribly set. All right, so the guests are all together, the strange props are all in place, and now we get to the shocking moment that officially turns this island vacation into an absolute nightmare.
So they've just finished a really nice dinner. There's this kind of fake calm settling over everyone, and that's when their host finally decides to show up. A voice, with no body, suddenly just booms through the room from a hidden gramophone.
And this voice isn't welcoming them to the island. Oh no, it's a judgment. It calls out every single person in that room by name and accuses them of a specific murder that they got away with. And just like that, the whole polite, civilized dinner party just completely shatters.
So, the game, as one of the guests calls it, has officially started, and with the very first death, everyone realizes this is not some kind of sick joke.
The handsome, totally arrogant Anthony Marston just laughs at the accusations. He raises his glass, makes a toast to crime, and then immediately chokes to death from cyanide in his drink. The first verse of that poem has just been carried out perfectly. Later on that night, the butler, Rogers, is cleaning up. He glances over at the 10 little china soldiers on the dining table, and his blood just runs cold. There are only 9 of them left. So now the trap is fully sprung. With one of them dead, the true horror of what's happening to them becomes sickeningly clear. The next morning, Mrs. Rogers, who had fainted the night before when she was accused, is found dead in her bed. She has overslept herself, exactly like the second verse of the rhyme said. And yep, when the guests check the dining table, a second china soldier is gone. This countdown is terrifyingly real.
So think about it. Within just a few hours of getting there, 2 guests are dead. Only 8 are left. And as that sinks in, they all remember something the boatman sent them out.
That warning he gave them yesterday, it now sounds like a death sentence.
A storm is rolling in, the boat that was supposed to come for them never arrives, and there is absolutely no way off the island. They are completely and totally cut off from the rest of the world.
So, they're trapped, they're all alone, there's a methodical killer hunting them down one by one following a nursery rhyme. They have no idea who it could be, which can only mean one thing. The killer has to be one of them. And that, right there, is how Agatha Christie sets the stage for the perfect crime.